Hi everybody, Josh Ford here, running for the 2018 U.S. Senate race in Congress against Elizabeth Warren. Came here today to tell you a little bit about being a sheriff and what I know about being an officer of the law here in Massachusetts and about my family and how we've worked in law enforcement. Now, I've seen a lot going around lately, a lot of unfortunate videos. In this day and age of video cameras, everywhere you go, you're on camera. As an officer, you should be doubly aware of that. I remember my father, who is a police officer, has been for almost 32 years now in Melrose, telling me, you know what, I'm always polite, I'm always friendly, and I always act as if I'm on camera. Because, quite frankly, it's the only way to be these days. You're on camera 24/7. Now, as a sheriff here in Massachusetts, in the facility I work, very recently, not recently, but a few years ago, they installed cameras everywhere. Now, I know before that, I always performed my duties as though I was on camera because I was just raised and trained to do it that way. It was, I'm polite, I'm kind, I want to work with the inmates I work with, I want to work with the public when I do get to work with them and let them know that I'm here to help them. Now, you'll find, I believe, that most officers feel that way, that it is about helping people. Now, there are problems with being a police officer. In Massachusetts, and I'm sure that this holds true across most of the country, really. When you become an officer, in the very beginning, really, you go for your interviews and you are put in a chair somewhere in the middle of a room and you look out into a sea of officers, mostly administrators, maybe a city official. It's a very intimidating position to be in. It really is. So you're sitting there, and the first question that you get asked, that they ask everybody, is why do you want to be a police officer? And you're young, you're searching for the Nobel Peace Prize answer. Why do I want to be a police officer? And it's simple. You want to help people. And I said that answer a few times, and each time I can remember being chuckled at by the administration that was across the table from me, from whatever city or town that I was interviewing in. And it's simply because everybody gives that answer. It is the galactic, international answer for people that want to be police officers. I want to help people. Still want to help people. That's why I'm running for Congress these days. But that's not the answer. They want to hear it, but that's not what they really want to hear. Because people that really want to help people generally will not like the job of being a police officer, simply because you become trapped in a system that, being a police officer, you're like, why can't I fix this system? Why can't I work harder to change it, to become a sergeant and a lieutenant and work my way up to captain and maybe be in charge of the department one day? It's a lofty goal, and many people aspire to it. But these days, the system is so inert, incapable of changing. You're stuck. And even if you manage to climb that ladder, you work your way up to sergeant, lieutenant, captain, chief even. You get more power, yes, as you go up, but there's still a structure that you have to stay within. And very little movement is done within this structure. So even the best of officers, as time progresses, become frustrated, and easily so. anyone would become frustrated under these circumstances. Speaking from a perspective of a sheriff here in Massachusetts, I have witnessed the unfortunate outcome of what being trapped in this system can be like. I've seen numerous, unfortunately, officers commit suicide. A good friend who went through the academy with me, great kid, and he made an impression on everyone we worked with. I mean, everyone would call him the nicest guy you ever seen in your life. He made everyone laugh. Everyone. He was the last guy you would expect to take his own life, but he did. He came to work one day and he was put in the position of having a firearm, which is what we all face as officers. At some point, there's a firearm on our head. It's not as much when you're a sheriff, but there are positions where we regularly carry firearms. And unfortunately, this day ended very badly, and it's happened again and again since I've been in the sheriff's department. And it's a lot to do with the fact that we're stuck in a trap system. And for the powers that be, it's a great system. You have to work 40 plus hours a week to provide for your family, to pay for your house, your car. So you're not working 40 hours a week as an officer anymore. You end up working 60 hours plus. Many people experience this, but as officers, we have the unfortunate outcome of this job is you become an officer to work with good people and you want to help good people, but you end up having to deal with the worst of people, or people at their worst. Not always. There are certainly times where, as a sheriff, I have been lucky enough to run into people that needed my help, appreciated my help, and I can remember on a few occasions, parents that had come into the jail to visit their kids who really were scared to death for their kid, who is now an inmate inside the jail. And I talked them through it. I helped them every day. I tried to make them smile within the confines of the rules that I had. There's only so much that, in my position as an officer, could tell to these family members. I can't tell them, if they're in danger or where they are. I can only say, it's not as bad as you would think it is on TV. And I would try to make them laugh and try to make them smile. And at the end of their son's sentence, I can remember a couple of parents who shook my hand, dads who shook my hand, mothers that gave me hugs. And over the 8 years of my career as a sheriff, that was truly some of the most rewarding moments that I have ever gotten to experience as a sheriff. But on a rare occasion, I'll even tell you this. After coming back to work from injuries and stuff recently, I was approached by a couple of the elder inmates in the unit. I was watching 60 Guys, and two of them came up to me and they said, we're talking about you, and we like you. You're doing a good job, and we're happy you're here. So we hope you stick around. And you know what? Yes, they're inmates, and in the back of your head, being an officer, you got to go, why are they telling me this? Are they trying to get one over on me? Is something happening in the back of the unit that I don't know? So you got to look up and pay attention. But it seemed that they were very genuinely accepting of me, and they appreciated my presence. So I was proud that day. And in these moments as an officer where you get to be proud of what's going on, you really got to cling to them because they are few and far between. And to change the systems that my brothers in blue are in, to make their lives easier, is one of the reasons I've decided to run for the U.S. Senate. And I would like to lower the retirement age. I would like to make sure that officers are regularly seen and screened by psychologists at least once a year. People should be talked to. You spend an entire year of your life in the prison. You're a good person. You've become an officer because you're a good person and you want to make a difference. And here you are now. You're stuck in the jail, surrounded by some, not all terrible people, but some people that have made honest mistakes. But there are some people that just live to cause trouble. You know, they have nothing else to do in the jail, so they're going to make your day hell. And officers should have regular checkups with people. I know that in the beginning of my career, right away, within a year or two, you watch officers trying to escape. You would think that they were the inmates. They can't dig under the walls or climb over the walls of the jail fast enough to get away. So they go to the stadies and they go to police departments, but they've been conditioned, you know, in a certain way. They no longer look at life the way a person on the street does. They look at life as there's danger around every corner, and you have to be aware of that. That's how they feel. And so when they go to take these tests, you know, to pass the standard psychological exams that the person who has never worked as an officer takes to get the same job, they will often have trouble passing these exams. And it's not because they're crazy or they've become bad officers. It's because they look at the world differently now. They have a whole entirely different perspective on the prison system, on being an officer on the street. It changes a person. And you know, they tell you, you know, leave it at work, you know, leave the stress and the drama of the job behind. It's not always that easy to do. And it's a difficult job, and I'm proud to say that I've hung in there for 8 years, and I'm proud of the officers in my academy class that are still there. We've lost, believe we graduated with about 60 people. We're down to about under 30 after 8 years. So half my academy class is gone. Those that remain, very proud of them. I enjoy working with them. But as I move on in my career, if with your help, I get elected to the U.S. Senate, I want to make sure that I take care of the officers I leave behind. As I said, I want to lower the retirement age. I want to make it so they can retire earlier and go on about enjoying their lives. Unfortunately, not only is this job stressful and causes people to, you know, it has an incredibly high rate of suicide upon the end of your career. 32 years is what is expected of officers in the jail and on the streets. And at least I know that in the jail, upon retirement, many officers pass away very quickly after that. It's been 32 years of stress, and you know, suddenly they've lost this coping mechanism. The jail has become the safe place for them. You know, they become institutionalized like an inmate, and it's just a natural thing. This is my home. Now all of a sudden my home doesn't let me in, and that's a problem. We need to help people go back into the real world, help them find jobs in the real world after we've left, making sure that they're not just going to go home and sit in front of a TV and waste away with the last year or two of their lives. People that have spent their entire lives defending the lives of people out on the streets, making sure that the bad guys stay in the jail, deserve better. Now, as I've seen going around the internet lately, a lot of rough videos to watch. It's one of the reasons I want to make this video tonight. There are always bad apples that make everybody look bad. It's just the nature of the beast. Wherever you work, you know there's somebody there that shouldn't be there, doesn't do a great job. It's time for them to leave. It's a lot harder to get the bad apples out because we have union protection. And union protection in our line of work is incredibly necessary because it's also very political, and it's very easy to be caught up in the politics of what's going on. And I believe some of what we've seen in videos recently is political. I can't say 100%. I don't know the backgrounds on all these stories. There's a lot of different videos going on out there right now. But be aware that your local officer at your local police station, in your local jail, guarding the inmates, working with you on the streets to make sure the streets are a little bit safer, they care about you. And for the most part, they're good people that do incredibly stressful jobs. And, one of the best videos I saw today online was a gentleman giving the police officers a hug that were in riot gear. You know what? He realized that maybe they don't want to be in this position and they don't have any choice. It's what they have to do. So please be aware of that. Be kind to the next officer you see. Give him a hug. Shake his hand. Thank him for his service. They deserve it. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to me about my personal experience as being an officer in the Middlesex Sheriff's Department. And I look forward to helping my brothers in blue as I move on and with my career into politics. So thank you. This is Joshua Ford running for the U.S. Senate and Congress in the 2018 election against Elizabeth Warren. And I look forward to hearing from you any comments or questions that you might have about what life is like inside the jail, about officers, different points of view. I'm more than willing to discuss it with people. So please, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And I hope you all have a great night and be safe out there.